Hi, thanks for that warm reception. You weren't to know I have a headache, but anyway. So, the old adage that everybody has a book inside them seems more true now than ever. Books are being, especially with the advent of self-publishing, being doled out all the time. And it's a particular kind of book that's been written that particularly gets on my nerves. And I've called it ex-non-fic, meaning experience-based non-fiction, where people have reasonably pedestrian lives and then they try and glean certain insights and make these self-help books that really don't amount to very much of anything. Let me give you an example. This is a bestseller at the moment. It's called Run, Fat Bitch, Run. Rather unfortunate title, I grant you. Basically, Ruth Field came up with the ingenious idea that if you run 3 or 4 times a week, you'll lose weight. Now, to me, running 20 miles a week is not really the basis of a book. When you consider someone like Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning about spending 2 years in a concentration camp and developed this whole theory of man. That's what I want from a book or a manual or a self-help thing. This is another example. It's called Go the Fuck to Sleep. Sorry for children present. And oddly enough, it's actually about children. A guy called Adam Mansbush couldn't get his kid to go to bed, so he wrote this adult fable about his kid not sleeping. And it's huge. And celebrities are doing it on the internet and reading bits of it, and I really don't get it. Evangelist Ash is here. That's the type of story you want to read, where somebody's life was horrible, they grew up in Limerick, that's bad enough, he heard his parents having sex upstairs, all that kind of thing. But instead of complaining about it, I realised, I'm 38 years of age, why don't I just do one myself? I have some stuff to tell, so I've come up with John's Jolly Manifesto, 7 principles to change your life based on my ordinary life. Number 1, Chapter 1, principle number 1, never work as a milkman. I did this for a year, and it is the most miserable occupation imaginable. Now, you might think, big deal, don't work as a milkman. But I am more miserable than anybody here by virtue of the year I spent on a milk truck. Sleep deprivation, smelling of sour milk, and for some reason cat's piss everywhere that you could never get from your hands, never get off your hands. My hands smelt of cat piss for an entire year. Principle number 2, studying philosophy will not make you happy. I spent 5 years prostrate to the higher mind, and it's a common misconception that somehow studying philosophy will make you happy. It might make you slightly smarter, better at dinner parties, but it won't make you happy. Trinity is full of students 4 weeks into philosophy going, what the hell is this? Reading about Thomas Aquinas. Plato said the unexamined life is not worth living. I'm not so sure. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. Principle number 3, marry somebody better looking than you. This is probably the most important one. Here we have Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley, the ugly yet talented piano player who was very happy while he was married to her. The priest at our wedding, that's my wedding, not mine and Billy's, actually said, you're punching above your weight. I'm on the right, by the way. So the secret of a happy marriage is not shared history or any of that stuff. It's marrying someone better looking than you. And everybody is better looking than somebody. So it's a pretty important principle. Principle number 4, despite what I said earlier about running, run a marathon. This should really be chapter 7 in my book, because I've actually run 7 marathons. That's not a boast. It's proof of the fact that even someone clearly as unathletic as me can run a marathon. Running marathons is the silver bullet for human disease. This is the only bit of science I have in this talk in the science gallery. Diabetes, heart attacks, and it would seem to a certain extent cancer can all be greatly mitigated against by running long distances. Next principle, which I think I'm at number 5, I've forgotten. Always accept offers of being a best man. I've been best man 4 times. Once again, this is not a brag, but I tell you this, particularly for men, it's the only time in my life that a room full of women, most of them looked at me and thought I was kind of funny and charming. That has never happened to me before or since, but it happens every time I'm best man. Even if you're George Bush, you can give a good speech. That was the point of that slide. Principle number 6, always go and see Bruce Springsteen if he's playing in your town. Bruce Springsteen plays here all the time. He practically lives here. He did 6 shows or something this year. So you've no excuse whatsoever. I hate the expression religious experience. I don't know what the hell that means, but the only way I can actually describe going to see Bruce Springsteen is probably with the description, a religious experience. I kid you not. So go see Bruce Springsteen the next time he's here. Chapter 7, the final one. It turns out my life wasn't quite as interesting as I thought. So chapter 7 will encourage you to reread the previous 6 principles. So that's John's Jolly Manifesto, possibly in bookshops soon. Thanks a lot.